I think the media back home are a disgrace in a lot of ways, I think.
Welcome to Doha. So what I'll do is I'll tell you a little bit about what's going on out here and what it's actually like, because I don't think the media reflects it very well. So, I'm out here performing at the World Cup. I'm doing lots of stadiums and hospitality venues. So first things first, temperatures. The temperatures out here are absolutely wild. It's been always between like 21 and 33 degrees Celsius, and it doesn't really drop below that at night. You can see at the minute I'm out here and it's getting quite dark. It actually just stays over 20 degrees the entire time. Generally speaking, the people like to wear long bottoms, cover the majority of their skin, but especially during the World Cup, all the foreign fans are just wearing shorts and stuff. You see me out now, I'm just walking about out here. I'm not going to get any like funny looks or anything. All the foreign fans are just wearing their shorts. They're just enjoying themselves. They're dressing as they would dress at home, and there's been no issues whatsoever. The stadiums have been pretty impressive, and this is actually the most accessible World Cup of all time, and maybe the most accessible World Cup there'll ever be, because all the matches are being held in Doha. Like, all the stadiums are in and around Doha. There's one called Al Bayt, my accent, Al Bayt, which is actually up north. It's up north a bit out of Doha, but what they do is the metro system can bring you to all the different stadiums. The metro system takes you to a certain stop for the Al Bayt matches, and then they have a completely free shuttle bus. There's hundreds of them, and they just take you to the stadium, and they do that on the way there and the way back. So the accessibility and the transport and stuff is no problem at all. And all the tourists that basically have their Haya card, so the tourists that are here to watch the matches, they all get all that transport for free. The people are just so polite, so generous, so nice. They give up their time for you. The service is great. The police are brilliant. The matches, the venues, everything, the people, it's been so impressive. And I interviewed a couple of fans, which I'll share their thoughts with you now. I was asking them about Qatar and what games they're going to and stuff, and they had some interesting stuff to say.
Certain things are expensive, certain things are dirt cheap. Ubers are cheap as chips. I mean, obviously the petrol here is so much cheaper than back home, but I'm getting Ubers and it's like £2.50. I can't get out the end of my road for £2.50 at home. So yeah, drink is expensive. Personally, I had an experience with a mango. I bought a mango and it cost me £5. So I was absolutely fuming about that.
What do you think of your experience in Qatar so far?
I've enjoyed it. It's exceeded expectations. I think the media back home are a disgrace in a lot of ways. I think the way they've portrayed this tournament and this country has been so disrespectful. It's been very political. I don't think political coverage of that nature belongs in sport. I think the BBC has been especially guilty. Gary Lineker, we're talking about you, son. All the commentaries on pride flags and things like that. I think this is a country that it clearly doesn't share all of our values, but it's modernising and it's doing it at a quicker rate than a lot of places. So maybe focus on the positives, because everyone that I've met here has been welcoming. Everyone has said good things about the English fans. It saddens me that back home they're still talking about the negatives rather than focusing on the positives, because if you don't focus on the positives, how can you promote more growth? We want them to be more like us here. First of all, I'm not sure whether that's right or wrong. It's not really for us to judge. But if we want that, when they take the steps in that direction, why not congratulate them? Why not use a tournament like this to keep taking those steps? As you know, if you've looked at the coverage back home, that's not been the case. And unfortunately, it's part of a long line of behaviour by our media where if people don't fit a certain agenda, they'll be turned on. Me personally, I've had a great experience, so I will not speak ill of these people or this country. I know there's a lot of things that are very debatable. I don't have all the facts myself. There's a lot of reports of things that have gone on with migrant workers, conditions for people living and working here. But I think there's many worse places in the world, hence why those people come here. And without having all the facts and all the info and investigation, I'm not going to pass judgment.
I moved here back in August.
What do you think of the place? Have you been impressed by Qatar? Are you disappointed?
I've been here actually a couple of times before I moved here. It's quite an intriguing place, quite one of a kind, I'd say. I have nothing to complain about living here. I've enjoyed it. This is my second game. So we went to Brazil game yesterday, and today is the second game, and then we're off to Finland for Christmas.
Who would you like to see win the World Cup?
I'd like to see Brazil win it. I'd give it to my boy Bukayo as well. That'll be fun as well. But yeah, England or Brazil.
So there you go. There's a lot of fans out here enjoying the World Cup. If you have any questions, just drop them in the comments and maybe I can make another video.